Good morning, guys. Today is August the 13th. Welcome to another live session. It is a Tuesday, and this morning we've had quite some movement on the charts. There's two reasons why. We'll get into that. Before we move on, I'm just going to send out these links, and then we can get started. Yesterday's session was amazing, so if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I do suggest you watch after this one, so you kind of be caught up with all our analysis. But we're just gonna be building off each session. That way, it's it's kind of we're compounding on what we learn over time, and we have the same levels on all our charts. So right now, I do have Aussie dollar up, and you can see we pretty much got spiked out pretty hard, and there's a pretty simple reason why. And I've shared the link via the Telegram bot and my channel about US removing some items from the tariff list. And obviously with China being Aussie's biggest trade partner, this is great for the Aussie dollar. So we definitely saw some short-term strength. We'll see what unemployment says tomorrow, but Aussie shorts have hit our stop loss. On the flip side, Euro USD is falling, which is great. So hit and miss. We caught around 240 pips on gold long yesterday, so that was a well executed trade, and we'll also cover that. So in the meantime, just ask your questions, and we'll get started. Just a few seconds. Alright, cool. Take a quick peek at the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna start, and as I go along, you guys could ask questions. Yesterday, someone did ask for Euro Pound. It was right when I stopped the stream, so I will be sure to look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna start, and you guys could ask questions as I go on. I'll look at the chat after each pair is done. So Aussie dollar, we had a pretty nice short setup coming off the support region yesterday. This was a little bit of a support right here at 0.67500. We did get a break on the hourly down below, and then since then we kind of just flirted in this area. At this point, I did think we were gonna go down, and then this news came out. Some of the news that comes out isn't on Forex Factory. So, for example, at 8:30 a.m. we had USDCPY come out better than expected or matching the forecast. So we did have some initial strength for the Aussie dollar. Weakness for the Aussie dollar, and much of the pairs across against the US. And then about 30 minutes after at 10 a.m. the US trade rep came out with this news. So I'm actually going to open it up so you can read it together. But in short, it's when Trump, if you guys remember last week, Trump placed the $3 billion tariff. So we can read this right here. Subject to 10% tariff. So yeah, the 3 billion, 10% on approximately 3 billion of Chinese imports. And this was obviously bad for the Aussie dollar, so we saw a spill. We saw the yen increase in strength. And then today they said certain products are being removed from the tariff list based on health, safety, national security, and other factors, and will not face additional tariffs of 10%. So obviously this is great for the Chinese yuan, and so obviously the Aussie dollar, being the big trade partner of China, is going to benefit as well. So this is obviously a fundamental move. It's not priced in. It just happens when the news is released. Can't really predict this with technicals, but it is what it is. So for those that are on Twitter, make sure you follow the U.S. trade rep and have the notifications on. So you're notified about these trade advances, because they're not on Forex Factory. So moving on, Euro. And Euro is funny because if you look at what we pretty much are doing, This is the consolidation box we drew last week, and pretty much we can extend it right to the right, and we're still in that box. No real break outside of it, no real break above it or below. We spiked, and we just have some sort of support at the bottom of the box and some sort of resistance right at the top. It's pretty frustrating. There's not really any major euro fundamentals this week, so I don't know what the consolidation is. We do have pound CPI tomorrow, Aussie unemployment. USD, we have core retail sales. Maybe that's where it's waiting for retail sales again, and the Fed manufacturing index. But other than that, I don't see any euro fundamentals. So maybe it's just because the euro is dovish, and they do want to cut rates, and maybe in the future as well. Maybe do another round of quantitative easing, and the dollar is already expected to cut rates as it was announced. So it's a bit of consolidation until something major happens. I thought the CPI would bring euro down finally, but it wasn't too surprising that inflation increased. When you decrease rates, usually inflation is going to increase for the short term. So maybe Thursday when these major fundamentals come out for the U.S. dollar, which are expected to be either at forecast or actually worse. So we'll see. Maybe we might see a pop in euro, but until then we'll hold out. We're right around entry anyways. Moving on to pound. So yesterday pound, I did say there was a chance to short. The title is called Priming for Shorts, and basically that's what happened. We had a nice retrace to the 61.8 fib level, and this is where I said you guys can short from with stops just above our support region. And we've had a decent move, I believe around, we go from entry around the 60 pip move from the 61.8 fib level. So if you didn't watch yesterday's session, make sure you check it out. This is where I talk about it retracing from here up to here, and it's a nice short opportunity. It does look like we might consolidate in this region, but you at least bagged some of this move, some of these 60 pips. Like I said, for the rest of the quarter and going on to quarter 4, I do see pounds being weak. I would not buy it even for the short term. There's just a lot of news that comes out for Brexit that you don't really know about because they're not on Forex Factory. So to minimize risk and overall unexpectedness, I'm just gonna stay out of pound buys. Um, Nothing else to really say about pound buys other than if you're looking to trade it, look for shorts. Perfect opportunity off the 61.8 fib level. If you're looking for further entries, we did make a series of higher highs and higher lows. It's the mini trend line right here. If you're looking to continue short, look for a break of this trend line, which is at the same time a break of a support region right here. So a break below 1.2500 would be nice for shorts to continue down. We are on the route to make historic lows for the pound. The pound has never been this low, so we can definitely go once we get that break below the support region. Can definitely go down and make new historic lows down here. I believe one of the take profits I'm looking at for pound by quarter 4 is 1.19500, and that's a level that you'd probably talk about euro. Euro has gone to these levels, but the pound is expected, in my opinion, to go there to make new historic lows. So 19500, 1.19515 is where you can expect pound to go, unless something major happens. Let me just take a quick peek at the chat. Oops, and we can get going. Seeing a lot of new faces in the live. That's pretty good. If you guys have any questions or your favorite pairs, shout them out, and I'll take a look. But yeah, Forex is amazing, right? Thank God we don't trade stocks. That's a whole other headache. This volatility is amazing. Hopefully you guys use the strategy of using buy stops around key levels. I did it earlier, just like 10 minutes before the release, and bagged around 15 easy pips. I'll show you guys how I set those up. Okay, euro. Okay, cool. So moving on. So we did pound, we did euro. Let's look at gold. So yesterday, during yesterday's session, I remember we have from like about last week Wednesday, we drew this consolidation box, and yesterday I did say if we get a break above this box or below it, you can enter right away. You don't have to wait for a retest or a rejection, because when you're in a consolidation box like this, the move outside of it, or either above or below, is pretty aggressive in nature that you can just enter right away. And that's what we had yesterday. We had a nice break above, and we even had a retest on a smaller time frame, and we had a nice, 250 pip move to our resistance region right here, at which price turned around. So go back to yesterday's session. When I say, I believe when I send it out in the Telegram channels, I did say it was a very important session. It's a must watch, and you could have easily bagged 250. You could have put a buy stop, even though I don't like buy stops. You could have easily gained 250 pips. And if you've been here since the start, the support region, if you saw this rejection on the small time frame, or even here, you could have caught the short move down as well. Gold, like I said countless times, acts as a safe haven, and safe havens tend to respect key levels very well. Just looking to the monthly, I'll show you guys again what that support region represents. That support region is this, in this resistance region is this key support. Back when gold went to make its historic highs at right around 1913. That's the highest gold has ever been. And when it was on that bull run, it used this region that we're at right now, or that we touched earlier today, as a support region for about 12, 18 months, 18 months, almost 2 years. So that's what was a key region. And our bias was always long on gold. We just caught some of the retracements within the consolidation box. I believe I had a video saying gold to 1535, and even the description of the video for yesterday's video had that, I believe. So that's all. That's great and dandy. We made some profits there. So that Aussie stop hunt or stop loss didn't hurt too much. But right now, the same thing's happening again. We've pierced back in this consolidation box, and there's no real entry to do anything. The price action's pretty ugly here, if you ask me. Even on the hourly, you can see you had a sharp move down, a sharp move back up, and now we're right in the middle of this consolidation box. USD CPI came out better than expected. However, Aussie really gained some strength, and everyone knows that Aussie and gold are heavily correlated. So when the news came out that the tariffs were being released, we saw this kind of rebound on gold. So until maybe until Thursday, I'm not touching gold until we get the retail sales data. We'll just stay out of gold till then. But definitely a nice move right here. Consolidation boxes, use them if you don't have them. It's a very nice way to plot your support and resistance, and just kind of watch price as it moves in and out of this region. And it's a great tool. We had a nice break, retest, and a 250 pip move. So moving on to USD yen. USD yen spiked. Obviously, the yen got weaker with the trade news that just released. We were looking at shorts, and we caught some profits for shorts. Let's just see how much. We're around 21 pips in profit, and there's two entries, one here, and then this news came out. Our stop was very tight. Our stop loss was 25 pips, but it happens. No one saw this coming unless you work for the president. But for USD yen, this could actually be pretty good. I did speak of us breaking 106.200. If we did get a break of that level, we could see some potential reversal for USD yen, especially since we've closed back in within this trend line on the monthly time frame. Popping to the monthly, you can see this nice trend line, and we have spiked. This area was a nice support zone. We have spiked and closed back within the trend line, so we might be short squeezed back to maybe another touch here before going short again. All dependent on the retail sales now. That if this move is an impulse move or if this is a trend shift. Till then, I think USD yen will probably come back to right around 106.550, right around here, and probably just sit on here until Thursday's release. If Thursday's release is really strong, then we could possibly see a actual reversal on USD yen and go to make some highs again, maybe to 107.840. But till then, I'm not touching USD yen or any of the pairs that are really affected by the trade news. So all those majors are out of the way. I'm going to start looking at pair recommendations. Someone said Euro Yen, same story. We were short on Sunday. We bagged around 35 pips, 35, 40 pips. Some even got 60. But stops were moved to entry. Half our profits were taken. We obviously got stopped out at entry with this move and the trade news. With Euro Yen, it's a bit different, as you can tell. We still haven't cleared this previous high, and the euro is looking dovish, set to cut rates and do quantitative easing. So we may actually see this just be an impulse move, but the trend correct itself over time, and we may go further down for euro yen. Looking on the weekly, we should still on the weekly we haven't even made a big enough retracement to say it's a trend shift. Just looking to the left, we see how big this down move was. And this weekly trend line is pretty far out of our reach, probably around 200 pips away from even touching this weekly trend line. So until we even touch it, my bias is short for euro yen. I don't really see an entry. Like I said, I'm gonna let things calm down, especially since this impulse move, the price action is a little bit ugly on the charts. Taking a quick peek, someone said Euro Aussie. 52 pips. Nice. Quick look at Euro Aussie. I believe Euro Aussie probably is dropping like a rock since the strength of the dollar. I mean the Aussie dollar. So Euro Aussie, and on our supports and a lot of our emails, we get a lot of people that live in London and they have to watch us right before work, and they're asking if we do London sessions. I really do night sessions. Maybe if I'm just feeling spontaneous, I'll do them, or before NFP. But these sessions are available on our YouTube, guys. So if during the live, for some reason something comes up, or your connection gets disconnected on your end, these are posted on our YouTube channel. Usually 5 or maybe like 5 or 6 hours after we go live, so you can watch them at your own leisure. Just an FYI, and if anyone that is staying up to watch these sessions at 11 a.m. Eastern, get your sleep and just watch it later. When it's your time of the day, and you can watch it at your own comfort. But anyways, Euro Aussie, looking on the weekly, we did break this resistance region, and since then we've tapped a few key levels. The major one being 1.665600. Right around here, we can see we've tapped it with this wick, and we have actually closed below it, and that's a given. When Aussie dollar gains strength, Euro Aussie is going to become weaker, and I believe on Thursday or Friday, last week we caught this short move, nice short 50-60 pips. Since then we've gone up and retested that same level, 1.66250, and had a mini fall from there, and then again we came up and we tested that level and had a fall again there. Again with the Aussie, Euro Aussie, you can even draw consolidation box if you're looking for a next move up. This is kind of the region we're in, around the 200 pip region. This move right here was a fake out. This is why you wait for a break, a retest, and a rejection. But since then, we've made kind of a consolidation region. For any setups, I'm looking for a break above here, or a break, below, somewhere in the middle of this resistance region, as confirmed to go down. We could actually draw a trend line right here. Boom. So we have our 3 touches, 1, 2, 3. Look for a break of this trend line, and we could have a nice swing short down, especially on the daily time frame. It makes sense to short EURAUD if we do get the break of the trend line. A lot of indecisiveness in this carry, a lot of big bearish candles, bullish candles, but no real actual movement. That's EURAUD. I'm going to take a peek at the chat one more time before I send this one off. We'll look at the dollar index in case if someone wants to see an outlook on the indices. We'll do that, and then we'll move on. Tomorrow is Wednesday, one of my favorite days to trade, so we'll have some more setups for then. Okay. USDCAD, what's up, Doris? So USDCAD, this is also a weird pair. Last week, we had a head and shoulders short right here. Now we've come up and retested 132.870, and we've come up and we've rejected it with this with the tariffs news that came out. And honestly, the price action, I don't really like USDCAD right now. It's usually one of the easier pairs to trade. Let me see. Let me extend over the zone and go to the daily. The daily will probably give us some more insight. So on the daily, this is a huge indecision candle, equal wick to the top and bottom. I don't really see much to do with, much to work with here. If we remove this trend line, or actually just move it here. Oops. Can move this trend line right here. Remove some of these. So some of these raised on the small time frame are take profit levels from when we shorted. But anyways, USDCAD could be setting up for a short. We do have a a counter trend line right here. We do have this nice resistance right here, which we were squeezed from. We squeezed right below when we did try to make another move up. If we can get a break of this trend line, I would actually be inclined to short, especially because if you extend this resistance region to the right, you should have something like this play out. Stops will be very, very tight. And this is not a bad setup at all for an intraday 2.43. This is what I see. So look for a break out of this trend line, maybe a retest rejection, or maybe just a nice bearish engulfing, and we could have a nice short. Definitely we'll be looking at this. Thanks for mentioning that, Doris, and take one more peek, and if not, I'll send this live off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later tonight, we do have, well, for those that are in the Eastern time zone, tomorrow early morning, we have London, believe CPI coming out, so be cautious if you're entering any pound trades. Yeah, so pound CPI, it's forecasted to come worse than the previous, so just take note of that. Other than that, this was a great live session. A lot of pips were made this week, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern.